Admiral June walked slowly into the grand chamber of the Council of Nine. His steps echoed in the vast, dark room. The only light came from the stars visible through the tall glass windows and the glowing table at the center. Around this table sat the 9 most powerful beings in the Galactic Union. "Speak, Admiral," said Counselor Tejo, his voice deep and commanding. "Tell us about this new species you found." June touched a small device on his wrist. A blue light shot up from the center of the table, forming a perfect image of Earth. The blue and green planet turned slowly, showing clouds moving across its surface. "This is Earth," June said, "home to a species called humans. They are still young by our standards. They have only had space travel for about 100 years, and they have not yet left their own solar system." Admiral Kang, known for his many successful conquests, laughed. "They sound weak. Why are we even discussing them?" June pressed another button. The image changed to show scenes from Earth's history: wars, battles, destruction, but also rebuilding, invention, progress. "Humans are not like other species we have met," June explained. "They are different. They fight. All species fight," Counselor Mina said, waving her hand dismissively. "Not like humans," June insisted. "Most species fight until one side is clearly winning. Then they stop and make peace. Humans fight until they cannot fight anymore. And then they find new ways to fight." June showed them more images. Humans fighting against overwhelming odds. Humans creating new weapons when old ones failed. Humans refusing to surrender even when defeat seemed certain. "Interesting," Tejo said, leaning forward. "But what makes you think they would be a threat? To us? Our technology is thousands of years ahead of theirs." "It is not their current technology that worries me," June replied. "It is how quickly they develop new technology, and how they think." He showed data charts, the rapid progress of human technology compared to other species. The incredible leaps they had made in just a few hundred years. Most species take thousands of years to advance from simple tools to space travel, June explained. Humans did it in less than 10,000 years. The last 100 years have seen the fastest growth. They went from simple flying machines to landing on their moon in just 66 years. The council members looked at each other. Some seemed concerned, others remained skeptical. "What do you suggest, Admiral?" Counselor Mina asked. "Leave them alone," June said firmly. "Watch them, yes. Study them, yes. But do not interfere. Do not attack. They are not ready to join the galactic community yet, but they will be someday. If we attack them now, we will create an enemy unlike any we have faced before." Admiral Kang stood up, his tall figure casting a shadow across the table. "This is ridiculous. You speak of these humans as if they are some kind of super beings. They are just another primitive species barely out of their stone age." "They are primitive in technology," June agreed, "but not in thinking, not in fighting. Their entire history is war. Their greatest advances come during their wars. They adapt faster than any species we have ever studied." Kang pointed at the Earth image. "Look at them. They still fight each other over resources. They damage their own planet. They are divided into hundreds of different groups." "Yes," June nodded. "But when faced with an outside threat, humans unite. This has happened many times in their history. Small groups that hated each other joined together when faced with a common enemy." The room fell silent. The council members considered June's words. "There is something else," June added. "Something I discovered in their historical records. Something that made me bring this warning to you today." He pressed another button. The image changed to show human writing, ancient stories, old warnings. Humans have something they call grudges. When someone hurts them, they remember, for generations. They have a saying: "Revenge is a dish best served cold." It means they will wait, plan, prepare, and then strike when you least expect it. June looked at each council member. "If we attack them now, we might win easily. But if even a small number survive, they will never stop trying to defeat us. They will pass their hatred down to their children and their children's children. They will rebuild. They will study our technology. They will find our weaknesses. And one day they will come for us. Counselor Tejo stroked his chin thoughtfully. You paint a worrying picture, Admiral. But the fact remains that we need resources. Their system has many valuable minerals we require. There are other systems, June argued. Uninhabited systems with just as many resources. But farther away, Kang countered. More expensive to reach and mine. The cost of war with humans would be far greater, June insisted. War? Kang laughed again. You speak as if these primitives could actually fight us. Our smallest ships could destroy their largest weapons. Our shields can withstand anything. They might throw at us. Today, yes, June agreed. But what about tomorrow? What about 10 years from now? 50? If humans capture even one piece of our technology, they will study it, understand it, improve it. June showed one final image, a human child solving a complex puzzle. This is what makes humans most dangerous, he said quietly. They love puzzles. They love figuring things out. If we give them the puzzle of our technology, they will solve it, and then they will use it against us. The council room grew quiet. Again. Some members looked convinced. Others still seemed doubtful. Finally, Counselor Tejo spoke. We thank you for your warning, Admiral June. The council will consider your words carefully. We will vote on this matter tomorrow. June bowed slightly. Thank you, counselors. I hope you will choose wisely. As June turned to leave, Admiral Kang's voice stopped him. One question, Admiral. You speak as if you admire these humans, do you? June looked back at the glowing image of Earth. I respect them, and I fear what they might become if we give them reason to hate us. That is why I bring this warning. Never attack the humans. They will hunt you forever. Later that night, June stood alone on the observation deck of his ship. He looked out at the stars, thinking about the council meeting. He had done his best to warn them, but he had seen the look in Kang's eyes. The hunger for conquest, the dismissal of danger. They're not going to listen, he said to himself. He looked toward a small distant star, Earth's sun. So small from here, so insignificant. But June knew better. He had studied humans for years. He had watched them overcome disaster after disaster. He had seen them fight against impossible odds. He had witnessed their stubborn refusal to give up. They have no idea what they're about to unleash, he whispered to the stars. The sky above Seoul turned red on a quiet Tuesday morning. Hyun stood at his university office window, a cup of coffee frozen halfway to his lips. Huge dark shapes pushed through the clouds. They were like nothing he had ever seen before. Metal, ships, bigger than buildings hovering silently over the city. What is that? Asked Dae, Hyun's young research assistant. The boy's eyes were wide with fear and wonder. I think, Hyun said slowly, those are alien ships. For a moment, the ships just hung there. People on the streets below stopped to look up. Some took pictures with their phones. Others pointed and shouted. Then the first blast hit. A beam of bright blue light shot from the largest ship. It struck the military base on the edge of the city. The explosion shook the ground even miles away. Windows shattered. Car alarms blared. The base, home to thousands of soldiers, was gone in seconds. Get away from the window, Hyun shouted, pulling Dae back just as the glass in front of them cracked from the shockwave. More beams followed. More explosions. Jets from the Air Force rose to meet the alien ships. Hyun watched as they fired missiles that simply bounced off invisible shields around the ships. The jets were swatted from the sky like flies. We need to get to the basement, Hyun said, grabbing his laptop and phone. Shouldn't we try to get out of the city? Dae asked, his voice shaking. Hyun shook his head. Look at those ships, they're all over. There's nowhere to run. As they rushed down the stairs, Hyun's phone buzzed with emergency alerts. The same thing was happening in cities all over the world. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, everywhere. In the university basement, they found others hiding. Students, teachers, workers, everyone with the same shocked look on their faces. Someone had a small TV working. The news showed the alien ships in different countries. World leaders trying to speak to the aliens. Militaries trying to fight back. Nothing worked. The aliens' technology was too advanced. This doesn't make sense, Hyun said, more to himself than anyone else. Why attack us? We've never threatened them. We didn't even know they existed. For 3 days, the aliens attacked major cities and military bases around the world. Millions died. Earth's most powerful weapons did nothing against the alien shields. The biggest bombs, the fastest jets, the strongest tanks, all useless. On the 4th day, the aliens sent a message to every TV, radio, and phone on Earth. A tall being with scaled skin and large eyes appeared on screens worldwide. People of Earth, the alien said in a flat voice. I am Admiral Kang of the Galactic Union. Your planet is now under our control. Your resources belong to us. Your resistance has failed. Surrender now, or we will destroy your cities one by one. World leaders had no choice. One by one, they surrendered. The United Nations sent a message of surrender to the aliens. The fighting stopped. The destruction ended. But Earth was no longer free. The aliens set up bases around the world. They built huge machines to take Earth's minerals and metals. They treated humans like animals, pushing them away from areas they wanted to use. Hyun watched all this from the university, which had become a shelter for hundreds of people. He was not just a physics professor anymore. Before teaching, he had been a Marine for 10 years. Now people looked to him for leadership. We can't just accept this, said Jin, a former police officer who had joined Hyun's growing group of resistors. We won't, Hyun promised. But we need to be smart. We can't fight them directly. Their weapons are too strong. Hyun had been studying the aliens since they arrived. He noticed things. The aliens never went out alone. They always wore suits when outside their ships. They seemed afraid of Earth's air, water, and food. They're vulnerable to our environment, Hyun told his group, one night 1 month after the invasion. Their biology is different. That's why they wear those suits. How does that help us? Jin asked. We still can't get past their shields and weapons. Hyun smiled for the first time in weeks. We don't need to. Not yet. First, we take one of them, study them, learn about them. Then we find their weakness. It took 2 more weeks to set the trap. They chose a small alien patrol near the mountains outside Seoul. Only 3 aliens in their protective suits. Hyun's team didn't use guns or bombs. They used a net and sedative gas that worked through the aliens' suits. In minutes, they had captured 1 alien and disappeared back into the mountains. The alien was taken to a hidden lab Hyun had set up in an old bunker. They carefully removed its suit while it was unconscious. The alien's scaled skin changed color slightly in Earth's air but showed no signs of harm. It can breathe our air, Hyun noted. But look at how it reacts to these. He held up a small dish of common Earth bacteria. The alien's skin turned dark where the bacteria touched it. They have no immunity to our germs, Hyun explained to his team. Their world must be very different, very clean. They've never needed to fight off the kinds of diseases we live with every day. Over the next few days, they learned more. The aliens were physically stronger than humans, but moved more slowly. Their eyes could see heat, but struggled with bright light. Their hearing was worse than human hearing. And most importantly, they had never developed resistance to Earth's thousands of bacteria and viruses. While Hyun's team studied the captured alien, similar groups around the world began fighting back in new ways. They didn't attack the aliens directly. Instead, they watched, learned, waited. In Australia, a group managed to steal an alien weapon. In Brazil, resistance fighters captured a small alien ship. In Canada, they broke into an alien computer. Each small victory taught humans more about the enemy. 6 months after the invasion, Hyun called a secret meeting with resistance leaders from across Asia. They met in the bunker far from alien sensors. The aliens think they've won, Hyun told them. They think we've given up, but they don't understand humans. He showed them the plans his team had developed. Ways to use Earth's bacteria as weapons against the aliens. Methods to hack into alien systems using what they'd learned. Techniques to disable alien shields using their own energy against them. This won't be a quick victory, Hyun warned. It might take years, but we will take back our planet. As the meeting ended, a young woman named Sue asked the question everyone was thinking. What if they bring more ships, more weapons? What if they destroy Earth completely rather than lose? Hyun looked at each person in the room. Then we'll follow them into space. We'll find their worlds. We'll make them regret ever hearing the name human. They started this war. We will finish it. Outside the bunker, alien ships still filled the sky. Alien soldiers still patrolled the streets. The world still seemed conquered. But something had changed. Something the aliens couldn't see or understand. Hope had returned. And with it, determination. The humans were not defeated. They were planning, learning, adapting, and the aliens had no idea what was coming. 1 year after the invasion, Admiral Kang paced angrily in his command room. The large screen in front of him showed another failed mission, another lost alien patrol. How is this happening? He shouted at his officers. They are primitives. They have sticks compared to our weapons. Commander Yuna, his second-in-command, stepped forward carefully. Sir, it's not just one group. Humans all over the planet are fighting back, and they're getting better at it. Kang slammed his fist on the table. Find their leaders, find their bases. We're trying, sir, Yuna said, but they hide well. They know their planet better than we do, and they've learned to block our scanners. Far from Kang's base, in the mountains outside Seoul, Hyun met with his growing resistance army. What had started as a small group was now thousands strong. People from all walks of life, soldiers, teachers, doctors, farmers, united against the aliens. Today marks 1 year since they came, Hyun said to the crowd. 1 year since they thought they had beaten us. 1 year since they learned what humans are really made of. The crowd cheered. Behind Hyun stood the proof of their progress. 3. Captured alien ships. Dozens of alien weapons. Equipment taken from alien bases around the world. Phase 1 is complete, Hyun continued. We know our enemy now. We know their strengths and their weaknesses. Now we begin Phase 2. Jin, now Hyun's top general, unveiled a large map showing alien bases around the world. They have 37 major bases, Jin explained. Each one protected by shields and weapons we couldn't touch a year ago. He smiled. But that was before. We learned how their technology works. Before we improved it. Hyun pointed to the alien ships behind him. These were built to be flown by their kind. We've modified them to be flown by humans. We've improved their engines. We've made their weapons stronger. What Hyun didn't say was how hard this had been. How many failed attempts. How many brave people had died to capture even one piece of alien technology. But humans kept trying, kept learning, kept adapting. Most importantly, they had discovered the aliens' greatest weakness, their network. All alien systems connected to a central computer. If they could hack that computer, they could control every alien base on Earth. Tonight, Hyun told his army, we take back our planet. At the same moment, in his private ship far from Earth, Admiral June watched the events unfolding. He had disobeyed orders by staying near Earth. The Council had told him to return to Union space after the invasion. But something told him he needed to witness what was coming. They should have listened to me, he said quietly to himself. That night, as darkness fell across Asia, Hyun's plan began. Not with a loud attack, not with bombs or guns, but with a silent signal sent from a hidden transmitter. Inside every alien base around the world, something strange happened. Doors that should have stayed locked opened. Shields that should have protected the bases turned off. Warning systems stayed silent. Hyun led the attack on the main Asian base himself. His team moved quickly through the now open doors. The aliens inside were confused. Their weapons wouldn't fire. Their communications didn't work. Remember, Hyun told his fighters, we need their command center intact. And we need Admiral Kang alive. Across the world, similar attacks happened at the same time. In New York, in London, in Moscow. in every city with an alien base. Human fighters using modified alien weapons and armor stormed the bases. The aliens, cut off from their network, couldn't coordinate their defense. In his command center, Admiral Kang realized too late what was happening. "How did they get into our network?" he shouted as the lights flickered around him. Commander Yuna checked the systems frantically. "They didn't just get in," she said, her voice filled with disbelief. "They improved it. They made changes to our code that our own engineers never thought of." "Impossible," Kang roared. "Their technology is thousands of years behind ours." T. Doors to the command center burst open. Hyun walked in, followed by his team. They wore modified alien armor and carried alien weapons, but with clear human changes. Improvements. "Your mistake," Hyun said calmly, "was thinking that technology is all that matters." Kang reached for his weapon, but it didn't respond to his touch. None of their technology would work now. "What have you done?" Kang demanded. "We adapted," Hyun said simply. "It's what humans do best. We take what works, fix what doesn't, and make it better." Across the planet, the scene was repeated in every alien base. By morning, humans had control of all alien installations on Earth. Thousands of aliens were captured. Their weapons, their ships, their technology, all in human hands now. Hyun brought Admiral Kang to the Sol base that had once been the alien headquarters. World leaders gathered there, along with resistance fighters from every continent. "You have two choices," Hyun told Kang. "Leave Earth and never return. Or stay and face justice for the millions of humans who died during your invasion." Kang looked at Hyun with hatred. "You think this is over? The Galactic Union spans 17,000 star systems. They will send more ships, more soldiers. They will burn your world to ash." Hyun smiled. "That's exactly what we're counting on." He led Kang to a large hangar. Inside were hundreds of ships, but not alien ships anymore. They had been changed, improved. The human touch was evident in every aspect of their design. "We're not just sending you away," Hyun explained. "We're following you home." Kang's eyes widened as he understood. "You wouldn't dare." "You came too. Our home uninvited," Hyun said. "You killed our people, you took our resources. Did you really think we would just accept that? That we would just stay on our little planet and lick our wounds?" He pointed to the ships being prepared for launch. "Humans have always looked to the stars. You just gave us the means to reach them sooner than we expected." The captured aliens were loaded onto one large ship. Admiral Kang was the last to board. Before he did, Hyun had one final message for him. "Tell your council that Earth is now part of space. Tell them that humans are coming, and tell them that they have a choice. Peace with us, or the same fate you met here." As the alien ship lifted off, escorted by human fighters to ensure it left Earth space, Hyun joined the world leaders in planning their next steps. "They will send more ships," said the American president. "Yes," Hyun agreed, "but not for at least 6 months. That's how long it will take Kang to reach their nearest base. 6 months for us to prepare." "And what exactly are we preparing for?" asked the Chinese leader. Hyun looked at the stars becoming visible in the evening sky. "We're preparing to take the fight to them, to make sure they never threaten Earth again." He turned to the leaders gathered around him. They thought they were punishing a primitive species. Instead, they awakened a sleeping giant. Now they'll learn what humans do when truly threatened. In the room, there was silence, then nods of agreement. Earth was united as never before. United in defense. United in purpose. And far above, Admiral June watched as Kang's defeated ship limped away from Earth. He whispered to himself, "I warned them. Never attack the humans. They will hunt you forever." 10 years passed since the aliens first came to Earth. 10 years since they learned their terrible mistake. The Great Hall of the Galactic Union Council was no longer a place of calm discussion. Today, it was filled with fear. On the large screen, at the front of the hall, reports showed the latest human victories. Another alien outpost lost. Another Union ship captured. Counselor Taiho, now old and tired, faced the angry representatives from across the galaxy. "We must find a way to stop them," he said. "Stop them?" shouted a delegate from a distant system. "We can't even slow them down. The humans have taken 12 of our outer systems already." Admiral June stood quietly at the side of the hall. He had been called back from retirement when the situation grew desperate. The council that once ignored his warning now begged for his help. "Admiral June," Taiho said, turning to him. "You studied the humans before anyone else. You warned us. Now, tell us, how do we stop them?" June walked slowly to the center of the hall. All eyes turned to him. "We don't," he said simply. "We make peace." Angry shouts filled the room. "Peace? After what they've done?" "After what we did," June corrected firmly. "We attacked them first. We killed millions of their people. We tried to take their world. Everything that has happened since is our own fault." On the screen, images showed the human fleet. Ships that had once been Union vessels but changed, improved. Human ingenuity had taken alien technology and made it better. Stronger, more efficient. "How did this happen?" a young counselor asked. "How did they advance so quickly?" "Because that is what humans do," June explained. "They adapt, they learn, and most importantly, they work together when faced with a common enemy." He pointed at the screen. "And we made ourselves that enemy." Far from the council hall on the bridge of the largest human ship, Hyun stood looking at star maps. His hair had turned gray over the past 10 years. Lines marked his face, but his eyes still burned with the same determination. Beside him stood Jin and Dae, his most trusted generals. They had been with him since the first days of resistance on Earth. "The Union is calling for peace talks again," Jin reported. Hyun nodded. "They've been calling for peace since we took their first outer system 5 years ago. Should we answer this time?" Dae asked. Hyun studied the map. Human ships now controlled a significant portion of what had once been Union space. Earth, once a single isolated planet, was now the center of a growing human territory. Dozens of alien worlds had been freed from Union control and were now allies. "Yes," Hyun decided. "It's time to talk, but this time, we set the terms." The human fleet moved through space toward the Union capital world. It was not just a military force. It was a statement. Hundreds of ships of all sizes, built or modified by human hands. Technology that had taken the Union thousands of years to develop had been mastered and improved by humans in just a decade. "They're hailing us," Dae reported as they approached the capital. On the screen, Counselor Taiho's face appeared. "General Hyun," he said, trying to hide his fear at the sight of the human fleet. "We welcome you to peace talks." "We accept," Hyun replied calmly. "These are our terms. The Union will recognize all human-controlled space. The Union will pay to rebuild what was destroyed on Earth, and the Union will never again attack any human world or ally." Taiho hesitated. "The Council will need to discuss." "The we. Council has one Earth day to decide," Hyun interrupted. "We did not come all this way to hear excuses." In the Council hall, Admiral June listened as the members argued about the human terms. "We cannot give them so much territory," one shouted. "What choice do we have?" another countered. "Their ships are at our doorstep." June finally stepped forward. "May I remind the Council that just 10 years ago, humans had never left their own solar system. Look at what they've accomplished in that short time. Now imagine what they could do in another 10 years, or 50, or 100. The room fell silent as his words sank in. "The humans are not like us," June continued. "They don't think like us. When we face defeat, we surrender and accept. When humans face defeat, they innovate. They find new paths, new weapons, new tactics." He pointed to reports showing human technology. "They've already improved our shield designs by 40%. Their weapons are more efficient than ours now. Their ships are faster. But there are so few of them compared to us," Counselor Mina argued. "Numbers meant nothing on Earth," June reminded them. "We had superior technology, superior numbers, everything in our favor. and still they defeated us. He walked to the center of the room and looked at each council member. Make peace now, while you still can. Because if you don't, there will come a day when peace is no longer an option the humans will offer. Next day, Hyun and his general stood in the Grand Council Hall. It was the first time humans had ever set foot in the heart of the Galactic Union. Many aliens looked at them with fear, some with hatred, a few with respect. Councillor Taiho stood to address them. "We have considered your terms," he said, his voice echoing in the large space. "The Galactic Union accepts." A murmur ran through the hall. Some councillors looked down in shame. Others nodded in relief. "A wise decision," Hyun said. He stepped forward and placed a data device on the central table. "This contains the formal peace treaty. It also contains something else, a warning." "A warning?" Taiho asked. "Yes," Hyun said. "For all species in this galaxy, the warning is simple. Earth wants peace. Humans want to explore, to learn, to grow. We are happy to trade, to share knowledge, to be friends, but never again make the mistake you made 10 years ago." His voice grew harder. "Because now you know what happens when you attack humans. You know what we become when threatened. You know that we will hunt you across the stars if necessary." After the signing ceremony, Admiral June approached Hyun as the human prepared to return to his ship. "I tried to warn them," June said. "Before the invasion, I told them not to attack Earth." Hyun studied the alien carefully. "I know. We found your reports in their databases years ago. You were the only one who understood humans before you met us." "Not understood," June corrected. "Respected. I respected what you might become. And I was right to fear it." Hyun smiled slightly. "You don't need to fear us, Admiral. Not if you're not our enemy." As Hyun turned to leave, June asked one final question. "What will humans do now that you have peace?" Hyun looked up, toward the stars visible through the great glass dome of the hall. "What we've always done. Explore, learn, grow. There's a whole galaxy out there, Admiral. We've only just begun to see it." Back on Earth, in the rebuilt city of Seoul, children played in parks where alien battle machines had once stood. Schools taught both Earth history and the new chapters humans were writing among the stars. The night sky was different now. Orbital stations and defense platforms circled the planet, ensuring Earth would never be vulnerable again. And in schools across the planet, children learned the most important lesson from the invasion. When threatened, humanity stands together. When challenged, humanity rises. And those who make themselves enemies of Earth will be hunted forever.